Hey, this is Brother Jeff. I'm going to show you how to get started with the new Gridlock Storyline game. And the Gridlock Storyline game is very similar to the Marathon and also Explorer game. But let's walk through how the learner will actually interact with this game before we get into actually how to build it. So on the Gridlock introduction, we see our logo here. We also have a continue button. If you click on the continue button, it takes you to the instructions page. Now on the instructions page with this, you can pick the different player that you want to use or you want to have inside of this game once you go throughout the path here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this motorcycle. And then as soon as I select the motorcycle, it then gives me my question and my possible answers. Over on the top left-hand side, you can see the number of questions, so the learner knows what question they're on and how many questions they have to finish. And then down at the bottom here, we have a question label as well as a question text. Now, this allows you to pretty much put whatever text or label or even image that you want right within Storyline, and then choose the possible answers. Now, the possible answers allows you to type in whatever text you want there. So in this case, if I get it incorrect, it'll give me some incorrect feedback and allow me to try it again. But if I get it correct, it gives me correct feedback. I hit continue, and it allows me to see along the path the different spots that I can stop at, and says that I'm on my first stop here. I can go ahead and hit continue and then click on the and continue throughout the different questions. And as I continue, then it'll continue on the path. So you can see as I've continued here, now I'm on a different step, and it will go all the way until I reach the end of the star here. So once you have reached the star, it just gives you a results page at the end. And that's pretty much it for what the learner is going to interact with. So let's go into Storyline. And once you've downloaded this from the template library, all you have to do is double click on it and it will install it inside of your templates inside of Storyline. Now, if you don't see it right away, you just select the drop down box until you see the Gridlock image or 15348-Gridlock. And if you select that, you can go ahead and select the Gridlock game and then click import. And this will import it inside of your course. Once Gridlock has been imported inside of your course or inserted inside of your course, you'll notice on the left-hand side is some instructions. Now these instructions help you get started with the game, but it also lets you know the different variables that you can change inside of the variables section inside of Storyline. Now in this case, we have a Gridlock number of questions. Now this is the number of questions that you want to ask. At the maximum, you can ask 20 questions. At the minimum, you can ask 1 question. So all you have to do is go into the variables section, which you access by clicking on the variables button over on the right hand side. And you can see there's 4 different variables that are being used for this Gridlock game. But anything with the letter Z is actually recommended that you do not change, because if you change that, it may change the way that the game functions. So we recommend not changing or leaving alone any of the variables that start with the letter Z. Now that really only leaves us with one variable, which is the Gridlock number of questions. You can see that the default value is set at 20. But if I'm only going to ask 5 of these questions, or I don't really have 20 questions to ask, I can go ahead and change the default value. Now as soon as I do that, I can then come in and fill out my different questions, but I really only need to go to question 5. I don't need to go beyond that. Now from here, you can see this is the introduction page. We have our continue button, we have our logo. I can change that out, but there's really, if I don't want to change the look of it, there's really not much else I need to do on the first page. Now on the second page, it does give me some instructions. So I have my question or my instruction header, as well as my instruction text, and then I have my different avatars down at the bottom here. I can change that. I can insert an image or whatever I wanted to do here. I can remove the logo if I wanted to. So it is very flexible that way. But as soon as I finish the instructions, I then come into question 1, and from here, just go ahead and start typing out my question header as well as my question text. And then I can come in and change out my different possible answers. So you can see all I have to do is really start typing something here. I can insert images, I can insert shapes, so I can make it a little bit more flexible here. I can resize different things if I wanted to. But that's really, if you're just going to change out the text, that's really all you have to do is come into the text and type in your own text. Now, by default, option C is the first correct answer, and it will tell you this is correct here. Now, if I decide that I want option A to be correct, and so there's really only one thing that I need to do. Actually, two different steps that I need to do. I need to come to option C here, and then in my triggers panel, I need to go to option 3, and I need to come down where it says show layer question 1 dash correct. This makes the question correct, or this answer correct. So if this is not going to be correct, I'm going to go ahead and select the drop down box and choose question 1 dash incorrect. This basically will say that this answer is not correct. And then I need to come over to, let's go to option 1 here on the trigger. Then I need to click on where it says show layer. I need to select the drop down box. Instead of question 1 incorrect, I need to go ahead and change it to question 1 correct. Now that means whatever text I type in here, it doesn't matter. But if they choose this answer, it's going to go to the correct option. If they don't choose the answer, then it's going to go to the incorrect option. And then after I've set that up, I just go to question 1 correct. I can type in my correct feedback here, and then I can go to question 1 incorrect, and I can type in my incorrect feedback. This is the feedback that will show for any of the incorrect answers that they choose for question 1. And then after that, I just go through question 2 and do the same thing with question 2, same thing with question 2 correct, same thing with question 2 incorrect. And then go through all of the number of questions that I'm going to ask here. Now in the game correct, this will basically show my path here. Now I can see my different avatars. If I come down to my layer, select an avatar and click on states, you'll notice I have an avatar that pretty much goes throughout the different paths to get to the finish line. If I was to swap out this avatar, I would need to come into here and replace this image, but I would need to replace the image on every single state. And it's labeled question 20, question 19, question 18, and this is the position of where that avatar is going to be for every single one of these questions. So that's one thing to keep in mind, that you'll have to go in and you'll have to change it for each of them. But if you're not going to change the icon for those avatars, then you don't need to worry about it. And then the final thing is to click on the results page. On the results page, it allows you to edit your text, your results header, your results text as well, and put whatever you want it to do. And this is basically the last page that the learner will see. And so that's pretty much it. That's how you go in and start adding in the questions, the feedback, and the instructions and results and everything for the new Gridlock Storyline game.